My name's Conor McTiernan. I come from the Leterkenny Institute of Technology. I'm kind of building on what Peter was talking about, but looking at innovation from a different perspective. Quite often, organisations collaborate with other people and they try to find the right partners to get the best out of their desired outcomes. But sometimes we work on inter-organisational knowledge transfer, but we don't understand or we don't emphasise maybe the role that trust has and interpersonal trust has, and that we overly focus maybe on contracts or some particular outcomes. And maybe we should look at the way that we work with people rather than the tangible outcomes. So we know that innovation is the conceptualization or the reconceptualization of new or existing knowledge. So we already have knowledge in our own organizations, within our people, within our teams. But what we have to do is maybe engage with external knowledge to make that knowledge better, to maybe gain competitive advantage, to learn new systems, new processes, new products. We know that a degree of knowledge or of innovation may occur with our external knowledge, but the progressive organizations source and they try to work with special external experts, the likes that Peter was talking about here. We bring in new partners. For that to work, we have to have the right culture in our organizations. And I'm going to keep coming back to this notion that we have to have the right people engaging with these people like Peter, people that can make introductions, that we have to find the right partners for us. Importantly, when we are trying to find partners, it can't be random. It has to be terribly planned. We have to be quite specific about what we're looking at. Often one of the ways that we do this is to work with organizations that facilitate special projects or teams to come together. We all know about networks and clusters, and maybe you've got industrial organizations that you're part of. And what we want to do is we often join them, and we join them because we have individuals want specific outcomes that we're trying to achieve. We want to work with people in co-opetition, not necessarily competition. So we're trying to find partners that can work with us. We're trying to get stuff from them, but we have to understand there's a degree of empathy required. Often we join because we want in-group benefits. We work with people like Peter and other universities because we want in-group benefits. We want to get access to knowledge, maybe inside information. Sometimes, especially for us that are at early careers, we're looking for people maybe who can give us patronage, maybe help us to gain competitive advantage in ways that we can't normally get. And we want to work with people that don't necessarily protect their knowledge. We want to work with people that share their knowledge. And to do that, we have to sort of trust people. We have to be able to trust that they have our best interests at heart. When we think of knowledge transfer, a little technical, but we have to break it down and be very specific about what kind of knowledge we're trying to transfer. So I've adopted an existing model that was around from previous academics, and I think we should break it down into, are we looking at explicit knowledge, or do we want to work with people who can provide us with just reports, maybe new systems? It's a printed document that already has been out there that's shared by everybody in the industry. And if we do, chances are we're just going to work with somebody who can spread that information in our network through basic technology, emails, wikis, blogs, etc. But be very careful and think maybe, how easy is that information going to be shared around our organizations? If it's relatively easy, then we can just post that information on these documents and make sure that everybody in the organization reads it. And that may achieve a certain amount of knowledge transfer or exposure to new knowledge. If it's slightly more difficult for us to absorb new knowledge into our organizations, maybe we should look at other forms of technology-based explicit knowledge transfer, emails, wikis, blogs. But this stuff, this tacit knowledge transfer, that's the hard one. It's easy for us to communicate to everybody in our organization new information, opportunities that Peter and other organizations might be able to facilitate. But we have to remember that it's often hard to bring that information and to ensure that it's embedded within all members of the team. If it's a broad base, we can hold maybe training rooms, conferences, etc. But when it's quite specific, when we have identified specific challenging knowledge gaps, then we have to consider looking at things like brainstorming, coaching, and that's very labor and time intensive. But there's no point in engaging in new material unless we engage with the right tool, that matching of people, process, and task. why would you bother engaging in collaborative learning? Why would you work with somebody like Peter or other organisations? Why would you engage with your network centres? Often we engage with maybe our industry networks because it's a time to meet our peers, to have a chat, and it can be formal or informal. But maybe we should realise that learning from other people in our industry isn't actually that hard. Quite often, what we're trying to do is slightly reinvent or reinterpret the field that we're already on. We have to make sure that we're engaging with the right sources of knowledge, and that we make sure that the people that we're working with have sufficient and broad enough knowledge for it to make sense to our new organisation. And we have to find partners that are willing to explore new ideas, that are willing to share with us. There's no point in me talking to somebody unless they're willing to share ideas. There has to be a peer perception, a peer equality there. I have to see somebody as somebody that I can engage with. And just being a member of the same organisation or the same industry, that's not peer perception. Just because they're geographically close to me, that's not peer perception. And when we do collaborate, we should ask ourselves, when we're trying to engage with new people and trying to find new ideas, what are we focusing on? We often focus on maybe a physical product, or we have other KPIs, maybe a contract that we're trying to negotiate, and we see this as a significant outcome. I would argue that's a short-term outcome. When Peter was talking about this guy's thinking, you're talking about building and working relationships with people who are going beyond mere physical products. They're maybe developing relationships that can bring innovation on further. If we don't engage with others, then chances are we're just going to end up in a nice little rut, thinking that we're brilliant all on our own. We can only see as far as the front door, and we can't engage elsewhere. And that's one of the greatest threats that we have to innovation. We need to develop interpersonal and inter-organisational trust partnerships. I'm currently doing a PhD in Leeds Beckett University with Professor Roger Thomas. I'm looking at this very much from the tourism and hospitality industry. But we're finding that the role of interpersonal and inter-organisational trust and innovation is key. That we become overly focused on physical outcomes, and we should actually start thinking about the relationships we're building. How do you find a partner that suits you, that suits your organisation? We have to trust them. So we have to believe that the outcomes and that the intentions and the behaviours of others are not going to jeopardise us. Not that we're afraid, but if we're to engage in some risk-taking behaviour, we have to feel that we're not going to be damaged. So we have to find a partner that makes us feel that, and it's psychology at this stage. It's not like a little blue finger, or our little finger turns blue or something when we find that we trust somebody. It's something that we feel, and that feeling is very important. Trust encourages us to engage in risk-taking behaviours. And if we're to look at some indicators as to whether or not I trust somebody, the key variables that we should look at, and they were developed back in 1995, are ability, benevolence, and integrity. By ability, it means, can this person actually do what they say they're going to do? And are they willing to do it? So if I'm talking to Peter as a company and I'm looking to develop a piece of technology, I have to feel that Peter has the best source of information, that people like Peter are willing to share that information, and that the outcomes that we both require have some sort of parity, there's something that we can both get out of it. At a fundamental level, I have to believe that the organisations that I'm working with aren't meant to hurt me. And we can only sense that. And then the third key variable for trust development is that we have integrity, that we believe that all parties are adhering to the appropriate guiding principles that will help us to work together, not just now, but in the future. What's the advantages of having trust between collaborating partners? Is there any point? Should we be looking at developing personal relationships and inter-organisational relationships for anything other than physical outcomes? Maybe if we to focus this on inter-organisational trust and those sorts of other intangible benefits, we do better. If we trust people, we can realign or reaffirm our outcomes together. That we can actually allocate resources to ensure that we're going to help each other. It enhances stakeholder satisfaction. If I get on well with somebody, I'm more likely to engage with them on a regular basis. I'm more likely to share with them. It helps to facilitate the transfer of new knowledge. Sometimes somebody can expose me to knowledge, but maybe I'm unwilling or I'm wary of taking a new idea on board. If I trust the person who's giving me the information, I'm more likely to engage with this new knowledge and assimilate it into the organisation. It can improve organisational health. If we have a predisposition to trust our partners, then we just sort of feel better when we engage with them. If we're wary of them, we're sceptical of them, for whatever reason, maybe they're not the right fit for us. Maybe we're intimidated by their scale or their experience. Maybe we feel that they don't have appropriate resources. We have to feel that these people are going to work with us in a positive way. When we trust people, it becomes an organising principle. It becomes normal for me to engage with my partners because I've had prior experience of working with them, I know them on a personal level, and I'm willing to take their ideas on board. And it can facilitate or influence the allocation of resources to ensure that our innovation project succeeds. When we're looking for our innovation partners, we should remember that trust does not happen straight away, that it takes time to build trust between organizations, between individuals. At the beginning, we probably have calculative trust. We trust, if we were to work with a university, we trust that it's appropriate because we deem they have the right qualifications, they have the right facilities. Maybe I'm working with somebody who I recognize as an industrial expert in a particular field. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I trust them implicitly. I calculate that it's good to work with them. Over time, so long as trust develops, and trust is a fragile resource, one little hiccup and it can be gone. As over time, ideally, we will develop relational trust. That when I have a problem, I don't think about it. I just pick up the phone to Peter, because I know that Peter solves problems. And that's something very powerful, very tangible, and it's almost that sort of sense and that comfort of being able to have somebody at the end of the line that I can work with is terribly important. So I'm looking at how trust develops between organizations and a network, different groups, different individuals, and not only how the trust is developed between organizations, but the role of interpersonal trust as well. I'm looking at tourism network in Ireland, and I'm trying to elicit, using qualitative data, because I'm trying to elicit people's experiences and try to get them to think about, to describe things that have happened. There's about 400 people on this tourism network here based in Ireland, and I conducted about 21 interviews all told. So what did I find? Apologies, it's a sort of a rudimentary map, I'm still sort of working on it. So if we're trying to find innovation partners, and if we're suggesting that the nature of the knowledge is going to be an important part, that trust is an important facilitator of knowledge transfer, then let's see what happens. What's most likely to occur is that we will find partners to transfer reports and explicit knowledge, that know that. And it's easy for me to turn around to somebody in my industry network and say, yeah, there's a national report for this. Have you read this article? Have you seen this document? And we can share that. And the people that find the greatest benefit of those kind of relationships are new entrants to the industry or new entrants to the network. When that occurs, it's easy to achieve basic and fundamental knowledge sharing. What's slightly more difficult is non-commercially sensitive and explicit knowledge, something that we have learned. Maybe it's something like new insights, contacts that we're able to use to develop competitive advantage. Here, the trust variable moves from initially a key benevolence, I will share with you because it's easy for me, to ability. I only work with you because I think that you will actually help me. But if we're to get the most out of our partners, ideally we will find integrity, that fundamental sharing of a common interest as the key and trust variable. If we can find people that we can work with that share our outcomes, we can actually achieve transformational knowledge transfer. And in this case, we find that the experienced members are most likely to do that, and people who have what they perceive as peer perception, that they believe that this person is the right person to work with in this organisation. Here, we can actually facilitate commercially sensitive tacit knowledge. That's really relatively easy to occur in an Irish setting. This is very rare. We don't invest enough time in trust development and the trusting element of our relationships. But when we do, it's very powerful and it's very tangible. Thank you.